Hello. Welcome back to the Saba show. Now, the EPL transfer window ended a few days ago. And look, I thought I may do a little recap of how Everton did this summer, or in Australia, in the winter. But I did one of these for the Brooklyn Nets, and that had some positive reception. And it is my most viewed video on this channel, so if you want to go check that out, go ahead. But I can imagine that a lot of people for this video will be from the UK, so they probably won't be interested in that. But anyway, let's not waste any time and let's hop right into the video. We'll get the more insignificant stuff out of the way first. If you want to skip through, I use plenty of timestamps that you can use to go ahead in the video and find your way. But anyway, let's hop right into the video. Let's start with the loans out. And we'll start off with the more insignificant names. Lewis Gibson, who went to Sheffield Wednesday on a 1-year loan deal. Nathan Broadhead, who went to Sunderland on a 1-year loan deal. And then João Virginia, he went to Sporting Lisbon for 1 year. And Niels Nkunku went to Standard Liège, the Belgian football club, for a 1-year loan. And look, these guys, they weren't going to get any playing time this year. And they haven't really had any chances in the past, except for maybe Virginia and Nkunku. Very questionable to send Nkunku out on loan, because, you know, we were trying to fill that, that hole with our fullbacks, and we didn't. So now we're very short, and one of our only backup left backs is out on loan. So that's a bit of a problem for us, but they'll get plenty of playing time wherever they're going, because these clubs, championship sides, League One sides. Regardless, this will be a great opportunity for them to progress their career, develop their skills in a different environment, and, they would have been way back in the pecking order at Everton. So this is a pretty good move for them, and, it's a good move for Everton themselves. They're getting development into these players without, them sort of getting in the way of their own system at Goodison Park. And the most notable loan deal for Everton this summer is the loan deal of Moise Kean, who went to Juventus for a 2-year loan that was worth £7 million, and that includes the option to buy for £28 million plus £3 million in add-ons. Moise Kean is going back to his club where, Everton got him from. And he could end up back there by the end of this 2-year stint. He's had a really rough spell at Everton. He's never really gotten going. He had a good time at PSG. Some very good moments there, but, he was around some much bigger names in Mbappe and Neymar to feed him the ball. So he had a bit more silver service in that way. But look, in saying that, coming back to Everton, he's going to be behind Calvert-Lewin. He's going to be sitting on the bench. He's not going to get a lot of continuity or playing time. Juventus obviously lost CR7 back to Manchester United. So Moise Kean is going to be able to fill the void there, have plenty of opportunities, and, he could replicate a season very similar to that he did for PSG. But yeah, I think this is a good move for him. The only thing that's questionable about this is, why didn't we just sell him off the bat? Maybe it was probably Juventus not willing to cooperate, or we weren't willing to cooperate. But yeah, if we were in charge, if we had the upper hand here, and we said we're going the loan, not the permanent deal, that's very questionable, because odds are when he comes back, Calvert-Lewin will still be at the club, and Richarlison will still be at the club. So he's going to be still back in the pecking order. So I reckon you can get a lot of money out for him now. The value's not going to go up, because the deal was that he's going to go for 28 million at the end, if the permanent deal goes through. So you're not getting any profit out of it. So I don't know why we didn't just get him off the books. He's Juventus's problem now, because he's been very troubled in terms of discipline, consistency, all that jazz. But anyway, let's keep it moving. And let's move on to the transfers out, because we didn't get any loanees for this transfer window. We start with Theo Walcott and Bernard, probably two of the most notable names there. Theo Walcott going to Southampton on a free transfer. He'd been at the club for about 4 years, and then, pissed off to Southampton, his boyhood club. Look, we didn't earn anything from selling him, but look, he wasn't getting a lot of game time. He was sitting on the bench for the majority of, the time he was at Everton. He did get some starter minutes probably earlier on into his Everton career, but in saying that, he's not really a player you want to hold on to, especially for us. He's like 31 or 32. And he's not scoring goals like he did at Arsenal. So, I think this is a good deal for both parties. Walcott going back to his boyhood club, more opportunity. He wasn't going to get it here. So that makes sense. And then Bernard, very similar to Theo Walcott. We got rid of him for £1 million, it looks like, to Sharjah FC. I believe that is an Arabian ball club. This is just another no-brainer move for us. He was sitting on the bench as well. He had that one really good game in the FA Cup against Tottenham, I think. The 5-4 win. I think he was the one that scored the winner, to be honest. But another player that, he's always been on the brink and never been in the side, never been entrenched in the starting 11. This is probably just a really good move for both ball clubs. And he was on very big money. So I think both of them were on very big money. So these are two very good deals, getting them off the books. Two players off the books that aren't getting game time, which is what you want to see. And then two names that, as Everton fans, we haven't heard for ages. Yannick Bolasie, I believe, went on loan last year to Middlesbrough. Or something like that. We got him from Crystal Palace. He's gone on a free transfer. A lot of free transfers involved in our summer transfer window. He went to Turkish ball club Kaykur Rizespor. Please excuse the shit pronunciation. He went on a free transfer. He hasn't been in our plans for years, so he's gone. Another name off the books. If he's wasting space, don't keep him there. It's just the best for both parties. Let him progress his career. Simple. And then Mo Besic. This guy has been stiffed. For the last 3-4 years, he's been in and out on loan. Most recently was on Sheffield's list, but didn't do anything last year. Didn't go out on loan. Didn't play a game for Everton. And now he pretty much got released by the club, and he doesn't have a club either. I think he could play a big role in, maybe a Championship League side, because he's done it before. I think he had a couple stints previously with Championship sides, so obviously didn't turn out with these two. But hopefully, they can get up and going and find some form at a new club. And then we won't waste too much time on these other transfers. A lot of these guys were in the under-23 side, so they weren't even close to getting a game at the top flight, except for Thierry Small. He's like a 16-year-old. He got his first professional contract with Southampton. But yeah, these are all free transfers. About Thierry Small, he didn't apparently tore up. I put tore in quotations. Tore up his contract with Everton and signed with Southampton. Interesting move that. But yeah, he had a bit of promise. But some people say that he has a really shit attitude. So, I mean, we won't know until like 3 years' time when he's an absolute baller, or we don't hear from him ever again. So, yeah, but these trades or transfers aren't too significant. So we will move forward. And then we move to the players that we brought in this transfer window. We start with Damari Gray, who we got in for the very big bargain of £2 million from Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, we've seen, the impact he's had in the very few games he's played for the club, and hopefully he can keep it up. That's looking like an absolute steal. And then we've got Andros Townsend, who we got in from Crystal Palace on a free transfer. And these two deals, they've really helped us in the depth department. It was a target of Everton to get in some wingers for this transfer window. And we succeeded in doing so. And, you know, really, right down to the final day, we were trying to bring in wingers. We had Luis Diaz on the cards. Obviously, that didn't go through because of James. You know, there's just... I mean, there were plenty of names floating around. But we got these two guys in for very, very cheap. You know, they've had their impact in the first 3 or 4 games of the season, which is really good to see. Getting on the score sheet. And really helping with... I mean, I've mentioned it in my my recaps for each game, that these guys are so crucial to our attack. And you could say that some of it has attributed to our early success of this season so far. And we know that Everton love goalkeepers, as we've seen in the past couple seasons where they decide to put 3 goalies on the bench. And here is an example of us bringing in more goalies as a result of Virginia going out on loan and young goalkeeper Harry Tyra getting injured in training, I believe. So we brought in the experience of Asmir Begovic from Bournemouth on a free, and Andy Lonergan from West Brom on a free, but he's also played for many other Premier League clubs, as has Begovic. And these are 2 great signings. Begovic is going to be a great backup goalkeeper that can play in the cup ties and also serve as a mentor. I mean, Lonergan will be doing the same thing, but Begovic will probably have more of a role on the pitch, you know, playing a couple games. I don't think Lonergan will see much game time unless we have some huge goalkeeper injury crisis. But yeah, I think these guys will be great. You know, last year Pickford was facing, you know, a few difficulties in front of goal. And I think, you know, a lot of experience will be valuable if he gets into like a bit of a rut again. So yeah, you've got 2 experienced names here that are in their mid-30s that will be able to provide sufficient experience and aid to Jordan Pickford. I mean, Pickford's already a good keeper, but you know, he's got those little flaws in his game that really infuriates Everton fans, and I think these 2 signings will help eliminate that. And on deadline day, we got 1 player. This was a bit of a left field pick. I don't think a lot of Everton fans saw this one coming, but we signed Salomon Rondon from Dalian Professional. That is a Chinese club, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, he came in on a free transfer. So we got 5 signings for a combined £2 million, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But look, we wanted a backup striker in this window. Josh King did that last year, but for some reason Carlo didn't play him. But Benitez, this is one of his former players. So I think he'll get a bit of game time in the cup ties as well. He'll provide, you know, a backup option to Calvert-Lewin. You know, put a bit of pressure on his spot, because Rondon is a capable scorer, a capable player. You know, he's done it before with Newcastle and West Brom. I think he had a better stint at West Brom. But look, he's been here before, so I think he'll be a valuable asset. I mean, all these transfers have been really experienced gets, and I think that's really handy for a side that, you know, at times lacked leadership last year. So I think this is going to be really good for on-field and off-field leadership. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good signing. You know, we didn't need someone that deserves a starting role, but we did need someone that can play it. In the case of an injury, or just putting pressure on Calvert-Lewin, because I believe that if Rondon is putting pressure on Calvert-Lewin's spot, I believe that'll make DCL play better, if that makes sense, because, you know, he's getting pushed to do better in light of Rondon playing better. And now for the moment of truth. What do I give our transfer window? I am giving this transfer window a C+, and you want to know why? Well, you can see it right here. We got some good experienced signings to improve squad depth using minimal funds, and we got wingers and a backup striker, so 2 of our team needs, they were fulfilled. And we got rid of some dead weight, as I mentioned earlier. Besic, Balassi, Walcott and Bernard not getting a lot of game time, but on hefty wages. Now, what was wrong with our transfer window? Well, we are still missing backup proper fullbacks. And what I mean by that is we aren't playing Mason Holgate at right back. we need proper right backs, and we've missed out on plenty of players. I think that's one thing I've missed on this little list here, is that we had plenty of opportunities to get these players, but we were too slow on it. Like Denzel Dumfries, we had so long. We were interested in him before the Euros. He played well in the Euros, and then Inter were interested in him, and then Inter got him. It's the same with Correa. I think he went to Inter as well. So Inter basically nabbing all our players. But in saying that, we're too slow. We are way too slow. We had months to get this done, and we didn't do it. So we're missing, backups. If Luca Dean or Coleman goes down, God help us. And then also the failure to get rid of some of our hefty player wages. We said we got rid of some good ones in terms of, Bernard and whatnot, because he was on a lot of cash. But in saying that, we still have a lot of money on the books. Sigurdsson, I don't know what's up with him as well. But James is on big money. And we couldn't get rid of him. And it would have been a win-win because he would have gone. We would have gotten in Luis Diaz. Would have been great, but that didn't happen. So James is still here, and hopefully Benitez can incorporate James into his plans. But regardless, I think this was a pretty average transfer window. A couple gains, but they were cancelled out by what we missed out on. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's going to be interesting to see what players we target in January. And whatnot, if we target anyone in January. This was a pretty conservative window. We didn't do too much, especially in comparison to past years where we've spent massive loads of money. But we still got a few pieces that can help us out this season. But in saying that, yeah, we missed out on a fair bit. Anyway, make sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below and like the video if you enjoyed. But that is all from me. Yeah, that's about it. So I will see you in the next video. Peace out.